There's a story the West likes to tell about Japanese quality, that it's something almost genetic, a national temperament for precision, patience, doing things properly. It's a nice story. It's also wrong. The quality revolution that made Made in Japan a mark of excellence didn't start in a Japanese temperament. It started with one American statistician the United States had almost entirely ignored. Japan listened to it. America didn't get around to it for another 30 years.
Walk into almost any conversation about why Japanese cars, cameras, or electronics earned a reputation for reliability, and you'll hear some version of the same explanation. It's cultural. The Japanese are just wired for craftsmanship. And there's a grain of truth buried in there, but as an explanation, it does something lazy. It treats an outcome as if it were destiny. Because if you actually go back to the years right after the Second World War, Made in Japan did not mean quality. It meant the opposite. It was shorthand for cheap, flimsy, breaks on arrival. Whatever cultural temperament people point to today, it did not save Japanese manufacturing in 1945. Something had to be learned, and a lot of it was learned from a man born in Sioux City, Iowa.
His name was William Edwards Deming, a physicist by training who became a statistician. He'd spent the war years helping American industry apply statistical methods to production. He had learned the foundation of that approach from the physicist Walter Shewhart at Bell Telephone Laboratories in the 1920s, the man who first proposed tracking manufacturing variation on a running chart instead of relying on inspectors to catch bad parts after they were already built. By 1940, Deming had carried those same statistical sampling techniques to the U.S. Census Bureau, helping design the methods that made that year's national census more accurate and less expensive to run. And when the war ended, America, sitting on top of the world with no serious competitors and factories running flat out, essentially stopped listening. Why obsess over statistical quality control when everything you build sells anyway? Deming's ideas about variation, about measuring and reducing defects at the source instead of inspecting them out at the end, were treated as a wartime footnote. In his own country, through the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, he was close to a prophet without honor. The people who took him seriously were on the other side of the Pacific.
In June 1950, Deming arrived in Japan at the invitation of a group called the Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers, in Japanese, the Nikkeigerin. This was a country still digging out of the rubble, and its industrialists knew they could not compete on empire or raw materials. They had to compete on something else. Over an 8-day course in a lecture hall in the Surugadai district of Tokyo, and a 1-day session for executives up in Hakone, Deming laid out the statistical approach to quality that America had shelved. And crucially, he didn't just talk to engineers. He insisted on getting the top executives in the room, because he believed quality was not a factory floor problem to delegate downward. It was a management responsibility. The Japanese leadership took that literally. They didn't treat it as a training seminar. They treated it as a national strategy. 4 years later, in 1954, another American quality expert, Joseph Jurin, followed the same path to Tokyo at the union's invitation, reinforcing Deming's message from a different angle, that quality had to be planned and managed from the top, not inspected for after the fact.
And here's where you should look at the Japanese record directly, not the flattened Western version, because it contains a detail that tells you everything about how seriously Japan took this man. The Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers still documents in its own official record how the country's highest quality prize came to exist. According to their account, Deming donated the royalties from the published transcript of his lectures. and in June 1951, a senior director of the union named Kenichi Koyanagi proposed to the board that they use those royalties as the seed fund for a national award, to honor Deming's friendship and to drive the growth of quality management in Japan. The board approved it unanimously. Sit with that for a second. The money an American statistician earned from his lectures in Japan was turned at Japanese initiative into a permanent national prize bearing his name, the Deming Prize. To this day, it is one of the most prestigious quality awards on Earth, and companies still restructure their entire operations to win it. America gave Deming a footnote. Japan gave him a monument.
The genius wasn't just the lectures, it was what Japan built around them. The Deming Prize, created in 1951, did something a lecture never could. It made quality competitive and public. Winning it required a company to overhaul how it actually operated, top to bottom, and to be examined on it. The process itself had two stages: a written examination of the company's entire quality management documentation, followed by an on-site inspection each summer, when union-appointed examiners spent days walking the floor, checking control charts against actual production records before recommending a company for the prize. So quality stopped being a slogan and became a scoreboard. Executives who might have ignored a visiting consultant could not ignore a prize their rivals were winning. This is the part the "it's just their culture" explanation completely misses. Japan didn't rely on temperament, it engineered incentives. It took a set of imported statistical methods and wrapped them in an institution that made adopting those methods a matter of corporate survival and prestige.
Then came the second move, and this one pushed quality all the way down to the shop floor. In April 1962, the union launched a magazine called Gemba to QC, roughly quality control on the shop floor. In its very first issue, the editor-in-chief, a University of Tokyo professor named Kaoru Ishikawa, made a request to readers that sounds almost too small to matter. He asked frontline workers to form small study groups to read the magazine together and learn quality control as a team. That request created the QC Circle. The union set up a headquarters and a registration system for these groups, and they spread across Japanese industry. Small teams of ordinary line workers meeting to analyze and fix quality problems themselves. By September 1971, more than 40,000 of these circles had registered with the union's own QC Circle headquarters. By 1978, that number had grown past 1 million circles nationwide, more than 10 million workers meeting on their own initiative to study their own production data. Think about the inversion here. In the American model of the era, quality was something inspectors checked and managers enforced. In this model, the person tightening the bolt was also the person analyzing why bolts came loose. Deming had said quality was a management responsibility. Ishikawa extended it into a responsibility everyone shared.
So let's put the real architecture together, because it's not mystical at all. Layer 1, an imported rigorous method, statistical quality control, aimed first at management, not workers. Layer 2, a national prize that turned adopting that method into a competition no serious company could sit out. Layer 3, a grassroots structure, the QC circles, that carried the same thinking to every workstation in the plant. None of that is temperament. All of it is design, and it's reinforcing. Executives were pulled in by prestige, workers were pulled in by ownership, and the statistics gave both groups a common language that wasn't about blame, it was about variation and data. What looks from the outside like a cultural gift for precision is, on closer inspection, 3 decades of deliberate institution building on top of a foreign idea that the idea's own country had discarded.
Which brings us to the twist that closes the loop. By 1980, American manufacturers were losing badly to Japanese cars and electronics and couldn't figure out why. That June, NBC aired a documentary called If Japan can, why can't we? And near the end of it, they introduced American audiences to a nearly 80-year-old statistician most of them had never heard of, living in their own country, who had helped set all of this in motion 30 years earlier. In that broadcast, Deming put the blame squarely where he always had. He estimated that around 85% of a company's problems came not from workers, but from management and the system it built. American executives, who had spent decades blaming the shop floor, were being told by one of their own that the fault was mostly theirs. The reaction was immediate. Ford called him in that same year. Under CEO Donald Peterson, Ford put Deming's methods to work and turned the results into an advertising slogan seen on television across the country: "Quality is job one." The company's own defect rates fell by roughly 2/3 over the course of the decade. Suddenly, the consultant no American company had wanted was the most sought-after man in American industry, at an age when most people are long retired. 7 years after that NBC broadcast, in 1987, President Ronald Reagan awarded him the National Medal of Technology, the country that had spent 3 decades treating him as a footnote, finally claiming him as one of its own. He kept working almost until his death in 1993, at 93.
So here's the correction worth keeping. Japanese quality was not a birthright. It was a decision. Japan's advantage wasn't that it possessed some special national gift for excellence. Its advantage was that when a good idea showed up, even a foreign one, its own homeland had ignored. Japan built durable institutions around it. A prize, a magazine, a registration system, a management doctrine, and stuck with them for 30 years before the rest of the world noticed. The uncomfortable lesson for everyone else isn't be more Japanese. It's that the methods were never secret. Deming published them. He lectured on them in his own country first. The difference was never the idea. It was who bothered to build something lasting around it.
An American statistician, his own country shelved, turned into a Japanese national institution whose name still hangs on one of the most demanding quality prizes in the world. That's the real story behind 2 words everyone thinks they understand. Subscribe, and we'll keep pulling apart the Japanese business ideas the rest of the world only half remembers.